thank you guys for having me for this little interview so we could talk about Hasbro Pulse Fan Fest. I'm sure everyone is already familiar with who you guys all are, but if we can just take a few seconds just to introduce you guys to my audience. Dwight, we'll start with you.
Sure. Dwight Stahl. I lead the Legends design team at Hasbro.
I'm Ryan Ting. I'm on the marketing side of Marvel Legends here.
Yeah, I'm Dan Yoon. I'm on marketing as well.
Awesome. So thank you guys. So Hasbro Pulse Fan Fest was awesome. I actually got to be a part of the live stream, so it was very exciting. So again, thank you guys for that. But what an awesome event to see some reveals that we did not know about. We had seen leaks of some other things, that tends to happen with some of these events. So I'm glad that we got to see some stuff for the first time, especially the Ursa Major Build-A-Figure. So that was really exciting to see. But I do have some questions with some of the other reveals. So if we can kind of jump right into it.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So the first one, so we see the Thor figure that's coming and it says Infinity Saga on the package. How excited are you guys to actually revisit the MCU in its entirety? Not just the movies that are coming out at the time, but in its entirety.
I think it's great. We did the first 10 years anniversary for Marvel Studios in 2018. That was a big marketing push by the studio celebrating that milestone. That was back when that was the year Infinity War came out. So phase 3 hadn't even been completed yet. So flash forward a couple years later, where now that story has been told, and then the studio has kind of packaged it nicely as the Infinity Saga. So yeah, we love that exists as kind of an umbrella for us to go under and to go back and revisit some of these characters who either are versions who we haven't done, which is the case with that particular Thor. He's clearly an established character, but that look, that warrior look, had not been done. But it also gives us the chance to update figures that were done, but maybe not the most accurate, because at the time we were up against, our normal schedules and using kind of the reference we had available. And then the third point is, yeah, there are characters in the MCU that we've never done. So this might be a good chance for us to go and do first time characters, which is really exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, the Thor figure looks fantastic. Can't wait to see what else might be coming along the lines. Now, as an MCU collector, I love to see the premium role play stuff. So I have everything that's released as part of the MCU stuff. The new Falcon and the Winter Soldier shield. With the Eye of Agamotto coming out, it looks quite impressive. Are there any other role play items that you guys would like to see released? Oh, you have it right there.
Just for you. I've had it ready to go, but no one has asked about it. So,
oh my God, look at it!
Really
it
cool.
So good.
It's really fun.
Yeah, and the price point too. I'm kind of blown away with the price point, only $49.99. I was expecting more, but for $50, I'm like, okay, I pre-ordered it right away. I was still on the live stream in the room, and I'm like, okay, pre-order, and I'm like, done.
Thank you. We love it. That has been in the hopper, that idea, for a couple of years now, and so it was great to finally have room for it in 2021. But yeah, it's a fun little segment. It's we started it in 2016, so it's been around a while now, but there's only a few items a year, so it's more of a defined collection. But I just really love seeing pictures of people's display of their gear specific display and gauntlets and helmets and whatnot. And yeah, that's something we like doing, and we'll hope to continue as long as we can find those iconic items that deserve this kind of treatment.
Yeah, I was really happy to get Stormbreaker into the line. That's one that I've been wanting to get in for quite a while. So that was a big win for me personally this year, seeing that one make it. I think next I would love, if it was Dwight's Toy Company, I would love to add in Taskmaster's helmet and hood, because I think that's a really cool look from the I don't know, it's a skull helmet. I mean, come on, there's nothing not cool about a skull-esque tech helmet. So I would like to see the Taskmaster helmet maybe make it in there someday, and we'll see if the world agrees in not too many months when that movie finally comes out. We'll get to see how cool Taskmaster is, and then we can decide if it's it's worthy of the Legends treatment, you know, in gear form. So, but that's one that I would like to keep my eyes on and see how it, you know, see how the character comes off on screen, and if everybody loses their mind and wants more.
Nice. You know what? We do have a little bit of a skull helmet. We have the Gamerverse Punisher War Machine. So I have that sitting on my shelf right over here. So kind of along the lines, but a nice skull, actual skull looking one. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, for me, if it was Dan's toy company, I would really like, you know, we've had really good success with the Infinity Gauntlet and the Power Gauntlet, but the biggest pet peeve that people have given us is that you can't snap it, right? So I would love like a snappable type of gauntlet so that people could really recreate that iconic moment. I think that'd be pretty dope.
That would be pretty awesome. I could see the cosplay, you know, people going in there with their full-on Tony Stark Iron Man and have something ready to go even and do a snap. So that'd be really, really, really cool to see.
How about Vulture Wing Pack? I see the figure behind you. A big, like, you know, 16-foot wing pack that you can wear. Yeah.
That would be pretty awesome to see. I could walk around with that and just kind of flap your wings. Would be pretty cool. Oh, you know what? A Vulture helmet would be nice in the role play gear too, to go with the wings.
Yeah.
Would be nice. So in the Hasbro Pulse Fan Fest, you guys teased us with an Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth. So continuing on with the full themed waves, you know, we had the AOA Wave 1, we had the House of X wave that just came out not long ago. Will we continue to see specific storyline-driven waves? And specifically when it comes to Spider-Man, would we ever see a full wave dedicated to a specific storyline of Spider-Man? Perhaps Renew Your Vows, just throwing that out there.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I think for X-Men, it just, those two themes kind of lined up nicely with us. I believe it was the anniversary of Age of Apocalypse last year, I want to say, too. And Jesse Falcon was a big fan of that, so that was able to work out. And then, yeah, the Sentinel kind of design and inspiration was taken a lot from the House of X and Powers of 10 storyline there, so it just made sense to do a wave themed around that. And yeah, to your point, I don't know if we've done any other defined waves like that. It's usually been a mix, like the Spider-Verse wave had a couple of comic characters in it. But I think if it made sense and there were enough characters for us to do, including the Build-A-Figure, because that's a big point, a big part of that, we would look to consider those types of themes.
I think a Regent Build-A-Figure would be awesome. He's large enough; it would work great.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'll throw it out there just because I've seen a lot of chatter over the last half year or so. The next X wave won't be themed because you know, people have been saying, you know, it's like a lot of people like the theme waves, but then there's just as many people that are just like, okay, but I didn't read that book. I want more just kind of classic stuff. So we're going to take a little bit of a break from that in the X franchise, at least, and the next X wave will be just more of a shotgun classic approach, so that you're going to get just more awesome goodness from all over the X-verse down the line.
Okay, so you see, the mixed waves don't bother me in any way. I'm just very partial to the Renew Your Vows storyline for Spider-Man, so I'm hoping one day we get to see some of those figures. That's my big.
Ultimately, we're always just all fans. So you're just hearing from all three of us are just like huge X-Men fans. So that's why we sort of like shotgunned it, like, oh, we have to make it this kind of story.
Nice. Okay. So one of the big reveals also actually came the day before, not part of the Hasbro Pulse Fan Fest, but the premium party. How excited were you guys to announce double jointed elbows on female figures?
I mean, for me, it's been a long time coming. I mean, we've needed to do it for a long time. I just, you know, I'm sticking to my guns. I always do. Still hate female arms with those giant double holes blown through the bicep and forearm. I think it looks like garbage. I will never like it. I have never liked it. I will continue not to like it.
Fair enough.
Until we had come up with a technology that allowed us to give that range of motion that didn't look like garbage, I wasn't going to do it. So now we're at a point where with this pinless tech, we can get a much sleeker articulation system on a much more delicate, overall shape and mass, which is typical for a lot of the female arms, She-Hulks and characters like that aside. So when we have the ability, we were like, yeah, let's do it. We're all in. So we just debuted Riri. We debuted Domino. And there's one that we haven't reviewed, but there is a clean female arm. So you will have a perfect clean buck that replaces the silk buck with double knees and double elbows that are seamless. That we're not going to talk about the character, but it has been tooled. It looks good. So there is a now base system that we'll be able to use going forward as well.
Okay, so you kind of stole my thunder on my next question, because I was actually going to lead into that. So, introducing the double jointed elbows, the new female articulation, pinless joints and things. My question was going to be, are there plans for a new female-based body? And you literally just answered that. So I appreciate it. Because one of the things, with those female figures, everyone looks at kind of the articulation and some of the limitations of it. That I think a lot of us would like to see kind of a new updated body. And we've seen things happen throughout, like the Spider-Gwen figure, the Gwen Stacy figure from Into the Spider-Verse with the pinless legs. They were great. So can't wait to see kind of some more of that with the female figures going forward. So appreciate that.
Yep. Just gotta wait just a little bit.
A little bit longer. Okay. A little bit longer. I think we can wait a little bit. So with some of the upcoming MCU figures that are coming out throughout the year, I know there's three movies this year alone that I assume we're going to be getting figures for. So some of us fans have always expressed, which characters we want to see in figure form. I know that we can't really get them all, but when the stars align and the decisions are made, the character selection that goes into it, is it like a collaboration between, you guys, the Hasbro team, Marvel Studios, Marvel, all of that, on which figures will actually get released at any given point in time?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. We have our recommendations, and we review those with Marvel, our consumer products team over there, the equivalent, and then they also have to review it with the studio. And the studio comes back and they give us their suggestions. And sometimes the studio gives us characters that are pre-film release, and then some that are post-film release, which means these are the pre-films are just, they're go. Everybody can do them immediately. But then, these movies are so big, there's always those top secret things, right? So those are post-film releases. So those are characters we're not allowed to activate till later in the year, till after the films are out. Sometimes it's things we know about and we just have to keep our mouths closed. And sometimes the secrets are so big that the studio won't even tell us. They're like, this is too amazing, too big. We're just going to keep just everybody be quiet, and something amazing is going to happen, and when it does, we'll all jump on it. So it's a little bit of a balance between all of that. And a lot of discussions between our core team and Jesse Falcon and his core team to discuss what are the right balance of characters for any new movie that's coming out. Who are and then we just have to break down the importance of them. Who's going to get the most screen time? Who is going to have the most impactful moments in the movie, even if it's a smaller screen time? It's basically we want to make the figures that everybody's going to be talking about, right? The ones that are going to have the most heat and excitement behind them.
Right. Okay.
Basically, a lot of meetings. A lot of meetings.
Yeah.
So having to keep quiet on some of those things that are announced, is it, as fans yourselves, like I try to avoid spoilers as best as I can. I mean, there's some things that is going to get out there before a film's release, but for you guys, it's a whole different thing. Whereas you'll get designs, and sometimes those characters you'll find out about before any of the trailers, before we know a whole lot of anything of the movie. So for you guys as fans, how is it learning some of those things ahead of time?
I don't think we get spoiled as much as you guys might assume that we get spoiled. Like, there are some things that, like, some plot points that we know, and obviously we see some concepts of characters, but I don't think like everything is spoiled to us. And even in those little moments, we find a lot of like joy. You know what I mean? Like in our like weekly meetings after like Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'd spoil something in the chat, and then like one of our teammates would be like, "Hey, shut the hell up! I haven't seen it yet." Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's still elements of surprise there. So I mean, it sucks that, you know, sometimes like a character that you really wanted to get surprised about, you kind of know about, but even if you know it, it's always cool to confirm what you know on screen. Okay. So I think there's a different element of joy there. That's just me.
I think we understand, we get information on the broad strokes of various things, and it's like, oh, this is a new character being introduced, and then the studio has more plans for this character in the future, and you're like, oh, okay, like whatever that means. And then when you see it play out on film and how it plays out and the types of things that actually happen and the battles that happen and the consequences from the stuff, then it's more real, obviously. When it's just kind of like baseline information, like, yeah, it's spoilery, but it's not the same as seeing it actually, you know, on the screen.
I'm a little different from them. I think it sucks. It sucks a lot because
Dwight's the one that yells at me.
I'm the one, I mean, it's an honor, it's a privilege, but it still hurts so much when you find these things out, because the only movies I go to are these types of movies. I want to go sit in a theater and I want to turn off my brain and I just want to absorb something epic and amazing for 2 hours. And then I want to go back to my life. I don't go to the movie to watch Oscar caliber films. I don't go there to see, artisanal feats. I don't care about seeing those movies in the screen. Those are perfect for my television when I can sit down with my wife and watch an awesome, you know, movie. I go to the films to get my mind blown by these crazy, epic, amazing Marvel masterpieces. And when I have to sit in meetings and you have to, we haven't gone to New York for a while because everything's been, crazy here.
Right.
But when we go down there and we'd read the scripts, it was like, for the upcoming films, it's amazing and it's awesome because it's like I'm getting a glimpse into something that I have to keep my damn full mouth shut for a whole year or 2 years out. But it's still so awesome to learn, and it hurts so much at the same time because even those scripts will have redacted stuff that they'll keep secret from us.
Oh, okay.
But even getting the big broad strokes, it's just like, oh man, I would have loved to have just been sitting there, like, all the masses when those moments happen and you see them and you're just like, you get your heart broken, or, joy just pours out of every pore in your body when those, epic things happen. And it's like, so that hurts a little bit to have that stuff, taken from us, but that's part of the privilege of the career that we've chosen and the jobs we get to do. So it's definitely a worthwhile pain, but it still hurts so much.
Oh, sometimes up to 2 years in advance is like with some of the MCU figures. I know there's probably a lot more lead time that goes into developing those figures. So is it generally about a year to 2 years when you first get concept before you even can begin design, production, and so on?
Well, we get the broad strokes a couple of years out, but we actually get the as far as what the slate's coming and what's going, what their next big beats are going to be. But the actual assets don't come in until much later than that, because we'll get concept art maybe a year out, from the film, but until principal photography for the film starts and until the prop department is fully staffed and up and running, they don't have the costumes or the gear or the weapons done up until that point of what they're filming. And if they're not filming a key scene that we need till the very end of the film, that means they might not have that stuff for us for quite a long time, even though we need everything at the same window for our toys, which is why sometimes you get toys that are based off of concept art as opposed to final in costume actor turns, just because their schedules and our schedules, everybody on both of our sides does the absolute best they possibly can to make sure that we're all sharing the right information so that we can all make the best product. But unfortunately, from time to time, the schedules just don't, they don't perfectly mesh, and it's a real challenge to get it right every time.
Awesome. So Hasbro Pulse Fan Fest was very exciting from a collector standpoint. So, on behalf of hopefully most of the collectors out there of the various different Hasbro lines, but Marvel Legends in particular, that's my baby. That's I had all my MCU figures are right behind me, and my other 5 Detolfs are in a different room of all the comic figures. But I just want to say thank you. It was really exciting leading up to it. What are we going to see? What are we going to see? And then to see it all, and for me to be a part of it, a small part, but to be a part of it nonetheless, was very exciting. So I definitely want to say a big thank you to you guys for all that you guys do and taking this opportunity to sit down and talk to me. I really appreciate it more than you guys might know, because when I got the email, I was like, wow, I feel tremendously honored. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the time, man.
Keep doing what you're doing, man, for real.
Thank you. Yeah, and another exciting one, I don't know if you guys see, but I got the Nova figure in today.
Look at you. Look at you.
So I will be reviewing this guy, but I'm very excited. He came out great. So I appreciate all the work with all the Marvel Legends figures that you guys do.
Thanks, man. Thanks for supporting us.
Man.
Hopefully one day I get to see and talk to you guys in person again. I have in the past at San Diego Comic-Con. So I really appreciate it. Dwight, especially you, I want to thank, because the last time I was there, I had my son with me. He was 8 at the time. Big crowds of people. I think you were putting some figures into the display and everything. And you took 5 minutes or whatever it was and talked to him, my 8-year-old son, about Marvel and some of the characters and things like that. And it meant the world to me to see my son, not that he's super interested in the figures or anything, but in that particular moment, he was there and invested into it. And you took the time with all these other adults, vying for your time, wanting to talk about these figures. You were there talking to him, and your attention was on him. So I really appreciate that. I never forgot that. Never would.
Oh, well, that means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, if we don't show the love to the kids that keep these stories alive in their minds, right? I mean, we love hearing the stories that other people tell us, but those are the kids who are going to create their own stories for the next generation. For when we're in nursing homes, they'll be the ones telling the stories to our children and our children's children. So no, man, that's I really appreciate you saying that, but you don't need to thank me for that, man. That's I'm glad I had that opportunity to share that with your son and share that with you, because I got 3 girls of my own, and I love seeing the crazy weird things that they come up with. And I think that's the magic of these little plastic things, is they let your imagination soar, and that's what it's all about, right at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The real spoiler is that Dwight is the biggest softie, so he's the nicest guy. So he'll chat, yeah, especially with the little kids at the conventions. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. I guess thinking about that now, yeah. Okay, so again, thank you guys so much for the opportunity just to sit down and talk. I had a great time with FanFest. Look forward to the future Marvel Mondays, or the Marvel must-haves on Mondays. Oh, today was Monday. I don't know if we saw any Disney Plus reveal on Marvel.com, but I look forward to all the reveals that are going to be coming on in the future.
Go pre-order this guy. He's in a lot of he's making moves. He's doing
you
things.
got it right in front of me. It's such a tease. I get to see it. So I pre-ordered it right away too. I'm like, okay, I'm one to keep on card and one to open. I can't wait. I love the packaging on that thing. That came out great.
Yeah, that was cool. We were little kids when we saw that it made it into the show. Ryan was texting us immediately like, it made it. Like
like 7 a.m. I'm like, whoa, it's right there.
Nice.
Well, thanks, man. We hope to have you back on these. Keep on doing the good work. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and look forward to hopefully seeing you in person sometime this year or next year.
Yeah, I hope so. Whenever they come back and you guys go out to one of the conventions, I'll do my best to be there.
Sounds great.
Good, man. All right, peace.
All right.
Cool. Take it easy.
Bye.
Thank you.